Hi everybody, Jim Hamilton here. Just a few days ago I put a video out associated with my last newsletter, and that video and newsletter was called An Important Discovery. And what I made the point was that all of the structures on this planet, all the societal structures, all the governmental structures, all the organizations, all of them, all the man-made stuff are pyramids. Curious. Think about the Boy Scouts. Everything issues down from the leadership of the Boy Scouts down through all the different arenas and departments, down to the kids that build the fires and blow the whistles and whatever else they do. The United States government is the same thing. There's edicts passed down from top to bottom, and the humans are on the bottom of that, which is kind of curious. You've got all your corporations, they're all led from the top, and you've got your underlings and underlings below those. And the point I made in this recent newsletter, which went out just this last Friday, is that at the heads of all of these pyramids are corporations or artificial entities. Now, an artificial entity is what's known as a legal fiction, which means it's an entity. Humans are entities, but we're different. But entities that are created by statute. So a corporation is a good example of an artificial entity. It exists by permission of the state. Think about it. Humans exist by permission of God. Corporations exist by permission of the state. And then when corporations are created, often they're created for profit. They're created to quote unquote avoid profits so they can have all their earnings and not pay taxes on them. They're created to hide profits, you name it. And the point is that all of the structures on this planet, whether it's church, whether it's state, whether it's, like I say, Boy Scouts, even a family is in a pyramid shape. You've got the seniors, you've got let's say the grandparents, you've got the parents, you've got the kids, you've got the babies. That's all a pyramid, and a healthy pyramid, as the top level goes away, in other words, the seniors pass, then the parents move up to being the grandparents, and the kids become the parents, and the lineage of the family continues, and you can see there's a pyramid structure there because the authority issues down. Well, what's interesting here is that artificial entities as leaders are incapable of being leaders, and I touched on this because they don't have nervous systems. And because they don't have nervous systems, they're incapable of knowing the difference between right and wrong. Now, this is a very fundamental Abraham teaching, if you're familiar with Abraham Hicks. We can feel the difference between right and wrong. We know the difference between right and wrong, and that's what our nervous system is about. So what we have, and we've had for hundreds of years, we've had corporations being the heads of pyramids, and the humans are inadvertently looking to artificial entities for leadership, and that is a really false idea. It doesn't work. And so this is what this discovery was I made that I wrote about in my last newsletter. And another component has just come to light. It's stuff that I've known about, but it was just brought to my attention by a video. Bernie Sanders he's a Vermont senator, I believe. He's running for president. He seems to be a little different than most. And one of the things this video was showing was that he was really challenging Alan Greenspan, who of course was a forerunner of our modern economic policy and a director and a driver behind all of it. And of course, all that's a pyramid as well. And one of the main things he was saying was that the system we have is stable. There's hiccups and this and that, but it's stable, and it's the best that's ever been produced. And even the guy from Berkshire Hathaway says, this is the best thing the best thing that mind can produce. And so what my point is, I think it was in 2010, I got a newspaper, and Alan Greenspan admitted he was wrong. Now you'll find this in this video that's included below, where it says Bernie Sanders confronts Alan Greenspan. And what Alan Greenspan says, no, we've got the best of the best of the best of the best. And then 5 years later, he says, I made a mistake. Let me tell you what the mistake was. He assumed that the world of business, which is comprised of corporations, would have a self-regulating mechanism, and that they would pull back at the last minute. They might get close to the cliff, but they had the self-regulating mechanism, like of course a human has a self-regulating mechanism, and they would make wise choices. Except it turned out it isn't true. And this was the mistake that Alan Greenspan discovered, and has apologized to Congress. He's apologized to everybody in all of his many years of wisdom. I'm not making him a good guy. I'm not making him a bad guy. That's not exactly what this conversation's about. And he said that he was mistaken because corporations will go right over the cliff continuing to make deals, and that's what this crash was about in 2008. So we have corporations running things. They have no capacity to know the difference between right and wrong. They go right over the cliffs making deals. Now, there was a bank called Washington Mutual. A lot of foreclosures came out of Washington Mutual because Washington Mutual was writing a lot of bad loans. You had what's called your liar's loans and your no assets, no, what do they call them? All these different names for people that are enticed into financing homes that they can't afford, liar loans, whatever. And it's because they take these notes and they securitize them, and there's a lot of profit in securitizing these home notes, these mortgages, a lot of profit in it. And what Washington Mutual was doing, WAMU, was they were actually in two of the offices in California fabricating as much as 60%, I don't remember the numbers, of 60% of their mortgages that they were doing. I'm talking about fabricating them. I'm not saying people were coming in and signing on the dotted line with a shaky hand that didn't have any sense and shouldn't be buying a house in the first place. I'm talking about actually fabricating notes, mortgages, because they would then sell and package them and sell them for profit, and all that problem with the pension funds buying these supposed AAA packages, and turned out the notes were all bad. So what we had was WAMU was another example of a corporation in amazing style going over the cliff, all kinds of things illegal, going down the cliff, still giving each other massive bonuses. What was another one? Enron. These corporations have no sense, and Alan Greenspan thought they did. He thought they would push back from the edge and regulate themselves, and they didn't, and they don't. And humans have to stop looking up to corporations. That's what this message is all about. Of course, my work is about core resonance colonies. I personally have 40 years background in meditation. I've done in a range of 300 neurofeedback sessions. Your nervous system is your connection to the cosmos. Home is the cosmos, our creator, to whom we owe our existence, to whom we are beholden for our existence, is the heavens, if you will, God, if you want to call it, innate intelligence. There's an aliveness that everything shares on this planet that the corporations have no knowledge of because they don't have nervous systems. They're incapable of even sensing it. And so humans have to re-enable our natural state of connection. This is what we have to do. And in doing so, we become exponentially useful, exponentially contributive. We can turn the world around in actually a relatively short time. When you realize that the corporations are what? I don't know what you'd call them. They're artificial. They have no real, mostly it's in the naivete of the population that we let this run on. And if we would plug back into what's true, plug into our natural state of connection, all this would turn around faster than you think. And if we want to colonize other planets, we need to get our own straight first. Check out my work at coreresonance.com. My newest book, The 12 Premises of Core Resonance Colonies for an Enlightened World. There's very strong selling points or points about the need and the efficacy of humans re-enabling their natural state. And there's science in there that suggests that as we plug into the cosmos, we influence the whole, the Maharishi effect. One demonstration was 4,000 meditators came into Washington, D.C. in 1993 over a 7-week period, and during the week that the most meditators were there, crime went down 23.5%. Now, this is a very well-established demonstration, and everybody was aware of what was projected beforehand. There was all kinds of criminologists and sociologists and all kinds of people watching this, and they've done it, I'll say, hundreds of times. We've also got Dr. David Hawkins with the map of consciousness. The more conscious you become, the more contributive you become. And what's consciousness? But non-resistance to our maker, so that innate intelligence can flow through us. Everything is a subset of God expressing. And humans haven't managed to get into resistance somehow. And in resistance, we thwart or distort innate intelligence flowing through us. At the very least, our guidance is distorted. And here we are looking to artificial entities for our leadership. Hello. I want to be in touch. Everybody, namaste. Thank you.